All right, we'll go ahead and start our media session here following Game 1 of the DeLand Regional with the winning team from Oklahoma State. Opening up with Coach Josh Holliday. Coach, opening statement for you. Obviously a great win to start off the regional with a successful day.
Thank you. It was a very good game. I thought our kids played a very complete game today. Rez did a good job of going out and giving us 3 solid innings to start, which was what we were hoping he could do, with the idea of giving Carson the ball and letting him kind of take it from there and pitch it out. So from that standpoint, excellent job on the mound. I thought we played good defense, handled a number of different chances, turned a double play or 2 in there, which was big. And then on offense, we got contributions from guys up and down the lineup. Well, we made some really good outs at times that I think helped us get their starting pitcher, who's very good, a little bit worn down, and then ultimately gave us an opportunity there to try to get him and get some runs on the board. So good team win. A lot of kids gave us great effort. It was a nice, warm, challenging day to play baseball, and it had a championship feel to it from the standpoint of the way the game went. So I'm very proud of our kids and feel good about what we did.
Open it up to members of the media for questions.
Coach, you talked about why you started Reza with Carson. Why did specifically do you think Reza was the man you needed to start this game?
Well, Reza's thrown the ball very well the last probably 20 games, and he's a mature kid. He's a very competitive young man. He's really come into his own and made some great adjustments down the stretch, and we thought his pitches were a good fit against a very offensive South Florida team, some dangerous hitters, good power numbers. So we just thought he'd be a guy that could give us a good 3 to 4 inning outing, and then strategically using our pitching how we feel like it gives us the best chance to pitch the middle and the late innings with guys that have great tenacity and great composure, and that's what we wanted to have Carson with the ball in his hand in those tough, pivotal innings, middle to end. So that was the strategy there.
Coach, this is a pretty tough place to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and you guys had 2 home runs today, and it's been part of your offense all year. So how much confidence does it give you to see those results carry over into this place?
Our boys are strong. We are. We made the move to a bigger lineup about 20 games into the season, and we ended up with a number of players 200 pounds plus across the field. And with that, we picked up some strength and some depth to our batting order. Kids have done a great job of working on their game to where when mistake pitches show up, they're able to elevate them and drive them. And McCusker's homer, I believe, was a 1-0 breaking ball homer. Funk had a really good, long, competitive at-bat, and ultimately, I believe, hit a 2-strike homer to right. And several other guys with good at-bats. Boone's at-bat, even though he popped up on the infield, might have been the most important one because he pushed a very good starting pitcher 10 or 12, 15 pitches deep in that at-bat, and could have very well maybe worn him out a bit and maybe allowed us to get him later. So just strong kids. They've worked hard at their game. It's a nice ballpark. I like it. It's a big park. But at the same time, I think you're rewarded if you make a good pitch, and at the same time, if you crush it, you still have a chance to get it out.
Carson, I want to ask you guys have had a really good year, but towards the end there when you started to slump, sure, after every loss you're thinking, we'll get it the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. What happened at the end of there, and how did you turn that around today, do you feel?
Yeah, our pitching kind of, I guess, lacked a little bit at the end of the year. We gave up a lot of runs. And, we just kind of knew if we kept working, we'd get right back to where we thought we could be. Going into the Big 12 tournament, same thing. We worked really hard. We pitched better, but, not to what we wanted to do. And then we had some off days coming into this, and we got out there, watched film, got back to work. We feel really good about ourselves right now. We know there's a lot of work to do, but I think as a pitching staff, we're in a good spot right now.
Did doubt ever creep in, do you feel?
Never. We're a bunch of guys that kind of are free. We're a bunch of free guys. We like to have fun. We know when to lock it in, and we know how good we can be. So we're never doubting ourselves. The only thing that gets us is, I guess, the moment at the time. If something becomes too big, it can kind of get you a little rattled or speed you up a little bit. But we've kept our composure a lot this year, and I think we're back to that.
Carson, the last 5 starts for you, the last 5 innings have been kind of a struggle for you with a lot of runs, a lot of hits. What today really worked for you?
I had my fastball command back. That was something that I pride myself on, and it wasn't there the last couple starts. So once I got that back, I could put it, where I wanted to and when I wanted to, and then, my breaking stuff was there today, and Rob had a great plan, and we just executed today.
Colin, they had to shift on you the entire day, and you beat them to all three parts of it, down the line, up the middle, in between two defenders. Can you talk about the challenge of that and what sort of sense of gratification to beat the shift that many times today?
You know, it is kind of hard to beat the shift because, I mean, you got four infielders on one side of the field, but you gotta stay disciplined at the plate, because when you see four infielders on one side of the field, obviously there's a huge hole on one side. So at times I catch myself trying too hard, you know, to push the ball through the giant hole on the other side, so it ends up getting me into a hole. So if I just stay with my discipline and I keep barreling up balls, I think I could probably beat the shift all the time if I just keep hitting line drives into the outfield.
Coach, can you talk about your pitching matchup? I mean, who are you going to pitch tomorrow?
Don't know yet. We'll go back to the hotel and settle in and start preparing for two ball clubs, and we'll see how the game goes, and we'll match up. I mean, we've pretty much been in that mold for a while now, and that's not to be elusive. It's just trying to put a pitch plan together, see how our kids feel, see how the different teams play, what their style is, and who we think gives us the best chance. So we got 3 or 4 different guys that are feeling fresh and healthy and ready to go, and then we'll decide kind of how we want to structure, who we want to start, who we think is good in the middle innings, and who would be available at the end. Probably the only guy that won't go tomorrow is Carson, and I think Rez only threw 35 pitches, so he bounces back and becomes available later in the tournament as another guy that we could roll back to close the game later in the tournament or whatever the case may be. So we're just kind of day to day, and that's been a little bit by necessity late in the year as our guys have piled up innings, just trying to see how they feel and make sure we put the freshest, most focused kid on the mound and piece it together.
Same question that I asked Carson. Have you ever been through this before, where 6 straight, 9 and 10 at the end of the season and you're going to the postseason? Have you ever had a situation like that?
I'll be honest with you, that is so in the past for me. I mean, as I tell you, people say, well, they ask me that question all the time. I think that stretch has helped us. I'm telling you, we've faced some of the best hitters in the country. We've faced some of the best pitching in the country. We faced a Baylor team that's hotter than any team in America. We faced Texas Tech, who's one of the best offensive teams in America. We faced great pitching. I mean, those teams have given us a chance to come to this tournament and feel like, hey, we're going to be ready for the great challenges that these other ball clubs offer. So when you get to this point in the year, those games mean nothing now. The regular season means nothing. It's what can you do tomorrow against a really good ball club and play a good game. And I think those games in some ways have actually sharpened us up and hardened us up. You know what I mean? I mean, the regular season's over now. This is a postseason, and those regular season games showed us where we needed to get better. They showed us some of the holes in our game and forced us to make adjustments so that now when we tackle these great clubs, hey, we're putting it all on the line. And I really believe that. So I told our kids before the game, nothing's going to come your way that you haven't seen before. So believe in yourself, play free, respect your opponent, which obviously we do, but we're ready for the challenges, and that's how you have to look at those struggles. Otherwise, I'd have been in an awful mood the entire month of May, and I'm not into living that way.
You mentioned facing really good pitching. If it is Stetson, if it is Gilbert, what are your thoughts on him?
From what I've seen and read, he's outstanding, and it sounds like their whole pitching staff and club are really, really good. So if that's indeed our opponent, we'll have a great challenge in front of us.
Colin, what's the last week been like for you? You know, that early exit and then getting ready for this.
You know, it's never fun to leave a tournament early like the Big 12 tournament. It's never a good feeling, you know, to go in and go 2-Q. But there's also, you know, a little bit of upside of that because, you know, you get the extra, 4 or 5 days off that help your body recover. And, you know, after 50, 55 games, your body starts to get a little worn down. So, you know, it's an upsetting feeling getting beat out of that tournament early, but then again, there's an upside because it's nice to have those 5 days, you know, to recover and get your body back in the right shape.
How fun is it to come to regional and have every guy, or at least the top 8 guys in your lineup, all have at least one hit?
I mean, you know, that comes a lot on Josh. I mean, he does a lot of work on scouting reports and everything, so he gives us a really good plan. Every time we go to the plate, all of us have a really good plan, and I think if we just stick to the plans that he gives us and do what we can do, then I think we could do that more than just today.
Colin, what's it feel like when you come in here on the road and you're facing